The climate apocalypse narrative is a social contagion that's driven by power-mad psychopaths who are hell-bent on using fear and compulsion to make sure everyone steps in line so that they can continue with their acquisition of undeserved power. Because it's a infinitely expanding existential threat that can be used as an excuse for anything.
Yes.
Right? And it also provides a perfect cloak for any amount of power maneuvering. It's like, I want to make your shower heads put out a needle spray so that you're cold all the time while you have a shower, while you're doing something you do every day that could otherwise be highly enjoyable. Why do I get to invade your life to that degree? Well, because the planet's at stake, Joe. And who are you to privilege your shower comfort, something that trivial, over the fate of the entire planet?
It's also effective enough that the people that are underneath the power comply and do the job of the man for the man.
Well, I have to go along with this because my leaders who had built up a certain degree of credibility are telling me that, you know, the apocalypse is nigh. And who am I to, well, first of all, question, because, God, there's a hard thing to figure out. Why do I get to invade your life to that degree? Well, because the planet's at stake, Joe. And who are you to privilege your shower comfort, something that trivial, over the fate of the entire planet? Well, you can use that argument at every single level. You know, Trump came out with this executive statement just a few days ago about shower heads, and everybody kind of laughed about that. And I thought, no, he has an eye for petty tyranny, right? For petty tyranny. And there's very little that's more petty than, well, I think the showerhead example is a perfect one. Yeah. And then you also think, look, if they're willing to control your life at that level of detail, what are they not willing to control? It's like, you're concerned about my showerheads? Like we're out of water, which we're not at all? So what won't you control? You know, what's the global effect of human activity on the climate for the next 100 years? Well, good luck figuring that out. But this is why I'm making it more psychological this time. It's like, the climate fluctuates, and for complex reasons, but that doesn't mean that you get to look 100 years into the future and you get to conjure up an apocalyptic narrative and you get to say, we're the only people that can save you, and you get to say, you have to change every single thing you do in your life and prioritize our concern above all else, including even the well-being of your own children, or the economic future of the Africans, for example, who don't get to use fossil fuels, right? You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that using fear and compulsion.
Not only that, it's being done by people who have been wrong about everything, every step of the way. Every step of the way.
Yeah, well, then they just play a sleight of hand game there, though. Okay, we got the time frame wrong, Joe. It's not 20 years.
But it's not even just
40 years.
It's not even just climate change. It's basically everything. Public health, agriculture, you name it.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, well, that
every single thing. The water supply.
That sets us back into this conundrum that you and Douglas and Dave were addressing. It's like, okay, 2 conundrums, like 3. How do you pursue your interest in a landscape that's been shorn of reliable expert input, right? Who do you rely on?
Right.
Okay, if you don't know who to rely on, like, how do you keep the bloody psychopaths at bay?
Right.
You know, and the conspiracy theorist mongers and the people who aren't trying to discover the truth, but who are using the conspiratorial edge, let's say.
The grifters.
The groypers, for that matter, right? These are people who are clearly playing power games for their own benefit, and they're spinning up these conspiratorial narratives and riding on them and occupying them in this parasitical manner.